What up? What up? Good to see everybody. What's up, Bird Blue? Indy, Mary. What's up, D? Francis. Olivia. Hello. Hey, Stacy. What's up, Eric? Paper Pan. Patricia, what's going on? Miss Dog Lover. What's up, kid? Fire in the bowl. You guys ready to hang out? Jari. Mary, good to see you. And B, hello. Miss Thang in the house. Gates, hello. Attentions, TJK. Tommy Baker, hello. What is up, everybody? You guys ready to hang out? See if I can get this phone working properly. All right. If you want to call in and talk about anything relating to true crime, anything in current events, I did put something together, a little icebreaker. We'll probably start with that. Let me see here. I may not have put the link in the description, but I will. I think it's from newsweek.com. They did an article on I think it was like how people are kind of becoming obsessed with true crime. They have this fascination with it. They're looking at it for entertainment purposes. I'm sure you guys have run across it. Yep, TGIF. What's up, Eric? What's up, Corey? Vanessa Copper Horse, True Crime Housewife. What's going on, everybody? So here, let me pull up the title of this. Yeah, Newsweek.com, the most notorious serial killers in U.S. history and why they fascinate us. So I kind of cut out the whole front part, and they were doing a top 10. They were labeling serial killers. I think it was the top 10. I only had time to put together, I think, six of them. Because what I did was I took this article, I went text to speech with it, and then I just added a bunch of photos. And then we'll just kind of hang out watching that until somebody decides they want to call in. Hey, what's up, Jen? Violet, hello. And Glam Van, what's up? Margaret, hello. Looks like this article was by Emma Meyer. She posted it, looks like just in October. So maybe you haven't seen it. Charlie Manson. Yeah, he's definitely an interesting person. What do they call that? Couture personality? The thumbnail artist is crushing it lately, right? Thank you for that. Yeah, just throw them together. I get a quick vision in my head and I'm like, yeah, that seems cool. Seems simple enough. We'll put that together. All right, let me put this up on screen here. Whoops. All right, guys, let me know if you can hear this.
Dennis Rader, aka the BTK killer.
Did you hear that? Little sound check. Hey, Carrie. Not much, just hanging out. It's Friday night. I thought I'd come hang out on the YouTubes. See what's cracking over here. Good to see you, Wanda. Whiskey boots. Glitter Bean, thank you so much for the super sticker. That was awesome. I appreciate you. All right. Thanks for the feedback, Pat Copper, Paper Pimp, and everybody else who responded. Thank you. So these are quick little, I guess, tidbits or factoids of some of the serial killers that they've deemed the top 10. Most horrific. They're all pretty good. The reason I stumbled upon these articles, I was looking into the McDonald triad. Are you guys familiar with that? The McDonald triad? What up, No Effects? Rockaway. Good to see you. Yeah, I have an example of one of those on here. It's really bizarre. He was a really strange character. He was one of those hiding in plain sight type of serial killers. But the McDonald triad, what they say is, I think it's animal cruelty, right? Is one, arson is two, and then wetting the bed. I think the age of 12 or something like that. And it's not saying that if you do all those things that you're guaranteed to become a killer. What it's saying is that they're finding a pattern. You know, they catch these serial killers, and some of them are willing to come forward and provide data, and they put that data together, and they see these patterns. And they've actually made a huge step back in 2012, where now they're actually taking animal cruelty. They're calling it a felony, and they're putting that information into a database, DNA, everything. And they're basically saying, hey, if you're doing animal cruelty or you're committing these types of crimes, we're going to go ahead and document as much as we can about you, because we know that in the future, this type of behavior usually leads to harm against people. Yeah, Vanessa, he did make up his own nickname. He wanted the attention for sure. He wanted to be known as a serial killer. No Effects says, I never get over the fact that Dennis Rader sent a flash drive to police after they assured him they couldn't trace him through it. Yeah. See, that's kind of like his subconscious. He's got this uncontrollable thing that he's dealing with. Nobody wants to be a killer, at least you hope not. But they have, something that they can't fight, something that's overwhelming. So I have a feeling that was like his subconscious, like saying, allowing him to be fooled, because he was calling it 911. He was just doing all these things to get himself busted. Because I mean, he was the worst of the worst. The Rockaway, yeah, kind of like a pseudoscience. It may be outdated. They may have something more complex now. But I mean, it seems accurate. The more and more I look into serial killers, the more and more you find in their past, arson specifically, and animal cruelty seems to be where they begin, and then they kind of evolve. Hey, what's up, Jerry? What's up, James? Good to see you. Hey, Michelle, what's up? How's everything on your side of town? Oh yeah, knock on wood. Like a toothache or cavity, eesh. What's up, Damon? Damon says, I think he wanted to be caught at the end. The way everybody knows he is, BTK, hard to believe he started when Bundy did in 1974. Yeah, didn't he have like an 8-year gap in there? I think he was able to stop. Excuse me. I think he was able to stop for a while. I think his wife mentioned something about him, or he may have said this himself. He started getting into some really like S&M type stuff in his personal life, in his own life, and he was able to hold off killing for a while, but then he just couldn't hold off any longer. Sorry if you guys can hear the dogs. I hope it's not bothering you too much. They probably hear me talking and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Because I have this window open. Yeah, I pulled that sucker. I pulled one of my teeth, one of these back molars. I yanked that shit out. Miss Dog Lover with the super chat. Richard Ramirez terrifies me the most. He had no specific MO, just wanted to hurt and kill anyone. Yep. Did you watch the live stream that I did on him? I did one on him and the Green River Killer. I was thinking about downloading those and just playing bits and pieces of that today, but figure we just take it slow. Lisa, yeah, we love dogs too. We got 4 of them. 4 dogs and 2 cats. I caught bits and pieces of the Mine Hunter. Yeah, speaking of dogs, yeah, we're gonna cover a little bit of Son of Sam and his strange, I mean, what would you call it? Account of him being basically commanded or hallucinating that that black dog was talking to him. Very serious. Yeah, criminal profiling is very. I'm very interested in that. Coming up with profiles and things like that. Who this killer is based off of crime scene and evidence. Very, very intriguing. Manson. I mean, I was always interested, but I think the West Memphis 3 is what kind of just like threw me in there. I was like, oh man. It was the first time I did like a deep dive on a case. A new kitty. Yeah, knock on wood. I try to drink a lot of water. Nice. 20 degrees Celsius, of course. Yeah, Manson not only looked the part, he played the part. He's like, well, shit, if I'm not going to be a musician, I guess I'll just be a famous, like, character in a true crime metaverse. It's just hard to, sometimes you got to really stop and realize these are real people. Like Dennis Rader, that's a real dude. He's like Richard Allen. If Richard Allen's guilty, that is. I mean, but this dude, nobody ever, suspected him ever. sometimes he seems like a character in some kind of novel, but he was a real person. He worked with people. He went to school. He has childhood friends. You know, it's like how does this person become like a monster in some kind of scary movie? Damn, that sounds like that'll numb you out pretty good. Alphabetizius, what's up, playa? Good to see you as always. Genzo, hello. What's up, Carol? Huh. Not much. Just thought we'd hang out. This is one of those whatever type live streams. Anybody wants to call in, the number's 928-476-0112. Don't feel pressured. Hey, 2007 whistleblower. Like a chameleon. Whiskey Boot says they're born monsters. The thing is how to make them not kill. Well, the scary part is when they're born and they start doing like the animal cruelty stuff, they see that it draws in a lot of attention. So usually that's the part people remember about them. Like, oh, I don't know, we went hunting with them one time and they start doing weird shit to the animals, right? So they notice that. They're like, oh, wow, this is not normal. They think it's normal, but it's not. But they see they're smart enough. They may not be the smartest tool in the shed, but they're experienced in hiding. They've had time to kind of notice that they're different and they have to put on a mask and they learn to hide it. Yeah, and this guy, he actually was like pretty much tied to most of his victims. I think a lot of them worked at a place he used to work at. None of these are going to be like deep dives. They're all just little overviews. Yeah, Jack the Ripper. All right, let's take a look at this. I think they start here. They're going to start here with Dennis Rader, and we'll kind of stop and go in between each one of these that they mention.
Dennis Rader, aka the BTK killer. Dennis Rader was a serial killer in Kansas who murdered 10 people over the span of 3 decades, dubbing himself BTK because he bound, tortured, and killed his victims. He committed his first murders in January of 1974 when he strangled 4 family members, including 2 children. He is known for hiding in plain sight, having been the president
James Peralt says, hey man, can I have a shout out for my awesome daughter Zelda? Big up to Zelda. Shout out to James Peralt and his awesome daughter Zelda. Cool name.
of a church congregation and a seemingly loving husband and father. But he wanted attention for his crimes too, and in 1977, Rader wrote a letter to a local TV station that read, "How many people do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper or some national attention?" He was arrested in 2005 after sending a disc to the police department,
Talking
which
like
they
a
traced
robot.
back to the church that Rader served. He confessed to stalkings and killings, as well as sexual acts that drove his crimes. The BTK killer received a sentence of 10 consecutive life terms in prison in Kansas. His victims, the Otero family, Joseph, Julie, and 2 of their young children, Catherine Bright, Shirley Vian, Nancy Fox, Maureen Hedge, Vicki Wegerle, and Dolores Davis. 2. Ted Bundy. Having been the subject of several films and documentaries, Ted Bundy is well known for his crimes. Having been described as intelligent and charming, Bundy used looks to lure his victims in, sexually assaulting and killing at least 36 women across Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Utah, and Florida between 1974 and 1978. Some have estimated he could be responsible for hundreds of deaths. Bundy was ultimately sentenced to death in 1979 for the murder of 2 college students and again for the rape and murder of a 12-year-old girl. He was executed in Florida by electric chair
No
in
problem, James.
1989. The names of
Thanks for hanging
26
out.
identified victims, Joni Lenz, Linda Ann Healy, Donna Gail Manson, Susan Rancourt, Roberta Parks, Brenda Carroll Ball, Georgianne Hawkins, Denise Naslund, Janice Ott, Nancy Wilcox, Melissa Smith, Laura Amy, Carol DeRonch, Deborah Kent, Karen Campbell, Julie Cunningham, Denise Oliverson, Melanie Cooley, Lynette Culver, Susan Curtis, Margaret Bowman, Lisa Levy, Kathy Kleiner, Karen Chandler, Cheryl Thomas, Kimberly Leach. 3. John.
All right, let's pause it right there. Okay, so we talked a little bit about BTK, Dennis Rader. Now we just got a quick overview of Ted Bundy. I mean, there's something about Ted Bundy that's just seems a little bit more terrifying, especially from the perspective of a woman. Especially when you hear the story of him going to, he went to this local park, committed the crime, came back the same day, and committed the same type of crime. So he killed 2 women in one day, in one afternoon. I don't know. I don't know if Dennis Rader's still alive. That's a good question. "9 Days to Christmas. Imagine a Ted Bundy Christmas or BTK." Yikes. Destroy a whole town. I mean, look at what happened in Delphi. It was like a bomb. CJK says that's sad when you think that how you give positive reinforcement. Bundy was a butthead. I think he helped with the profile with the Green River Killer. Gary Ridgway. You guys know anything about that guy? This dude said, you want kind of something along the lines like, you don't want prostitution, right? So I was getting rid of it for you. I was doing you a favor. Like, what? Yeah, that dude was very terrifying. They based a lot of the movie Silence of the Lambs off of Ted Bundy's interaction with the whole Gary Ridgway thing. I think Gary Ridgway was supposed to be Buffalo Bill, and Ted Bundy was supposed to be Hannibal Lecter. You know, this guy in law school, but they just kind of mixed and meshed some of his MO. Like, if you look at the scene where Buffalo Bill, is it Buffalo Bill? That's his name, right? He's like acting as if he broke his arm and he's wearing a cast and he's trying to get this chair in the back of a van, right? So he's trying to elicit that sympathy. And sure enough, you know, his victim comes over there like, "Can I help you out with that?" Well, apparently Ted Bundy used to do that kind of shit. You know, and everybody wants to help somebody, you know. All throughout the day, if you see anybody that needs help, you're like, "Oh, let me give you a hand." What's up, Mindy? Tax cut. Yep, Gary Ridgway. All right, you guys hang tight. I'm going to be right back. Give me like 5 minutes. All right, what I miss? What I miss? There's a little tidbit. Ed Gein. Yeah, and I think instead of Texas, it was what, Wisconsin, right? Yeah, that's a crazy story as well. All right, let's see who they have next on the list here. I think it may be the son of Sam,
Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy was
John Wayne
responsible for the
Gacy.
deaths of at least 33 boys and young men in Chicago in the 1970s, but he has also been used as a figure in the media due to his performance as a party clown at children's parties and social events. Gacy was arrested several times for sexual assault in the 60s, the first being a teenage boy. After being released on parole in the early 1970s, Gacy was able to purchase a home in a Chicago suburb.
Miss Dog Lover says, Sleuth, have you seen the movie Copycat with Sigourney Weaver? A killer copying the likes of Bundy and Dahmer. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a creepy movie.
From which neighbors later recalled a horrible stench emanating. In 1978, 15-year-old Robert Pierce went missing, and police discovered that Gacy had been the last to have seen him. Upon further investigation, police discovered the bodies of 29 boys and young men in or near Gacy's house and 4 more near Des Plaines River. He pleaded innocent by reason of insanity, but the jury rejected the psychological evaluations, and Gacy was found guilty of all 33 murders. He was executed via lethal injection in 1994. The names of the 28 identified victims: Timothy Jack McCoy, John Butkovich, Daryl Julius Sampson, Randall Wayne Reffitt,
And look at all these
Samuel D.
people.
Dodd Stapleton, Michael Lawrence Benin, William Huey Carroll Jr., James Byron Hawkinson, Rick Louis Johnston, Kenneth Ray Parker, Michael M. Marino, William George Bundy, Francis Wayne Alexander, Gregory John Godzik, John Allen Seek, John Stephen Prestige, Matthew Walter Bowman, Robert Edward Gilroy Jr., John Anthony Maury, Russell Lloyd Nelson, Robert David Winch, Tommy Joe Bowling, David Paul
It looks like a
Talsma,
yearbook
William Wayne
page.
Kindred, Timothy David O'Rourke, Frank William Landingen, James Matsara, Robert Jerome Piest.
Jesus. Yeah, Gacy. And apparently, I read something about him also today that what he did was he took all his victims and he like shoved them into one spot, and they kind of just kind of fused together. They had to take it all out, and they had to separate everything and figure out, who was who and what was what. Yeah, I mean, there's just not enough punishment for that kind of pain. I mean, when you really put them up on the screen like that, it's like overwhelming. Like all the futures. Oh, I think we got a call. All right, guys, we do have a call, and we have Brian on the line. Uh, what's going on, Brian?
Oh, not much, man. Long time no talk.
Did we speak before?
Do what?
Have we spoken before?
Yeah, several times.
Mm.
I'm in 3 or 4 and Tommy and Cruz and all that.
Oh, okay, Brian.
Okay. Yeah, Bravo.
Oh, how you doing, man? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, do I need to exit out of my YouTube? I paused this.
I would just turn it down.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody can hear. Can you guys hear Brian? All right, what's going on, Brian?
Yeah. I messed up there because every time I go back into it, I can hear myself echoing what I said before.
So what's going on?
Yeah. I just kind of wanted to talk to you about your new outlook on the Delphi case.
My new outlook?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by that?
What is your take on the findings and the new stuff that has came out as opposed to what we talked about before and things of that nature?
Well, I mean, some of that information, it could be correct, but I think it's uncorroborated. I think it's unsubstantiated. I think it's just somebody's interpretation of all of the facts and all of the discussion. And it's basically like an updated interpretation, including all the updates and all that information. I don't think there's anything solid to it. Is that what you're referring to? Are you referring to the Daily Mail article? That
No. I looked at that. I mean, we don't know that it's fact. Kind of like you said. Just I get kind of a rough draft of what do you think about them getting somebody right there in Delphi? That's a part of it, which we'll get to that piece in a minute. I don't think that's the whole piece of the pie. But
So you're asking me You're asking me how I feel about them catching somebody that was right under their noses this entire time?
Absolutely.
I have mixed feelings. They're only human. Um,
Right.
I don't know the connections, but the fact that he came forward early on with his description and enough for them to grab his phone information and then nobody to bring that up, this entire time, that's a little troubling.
I'm going to ask you a question. And I really don't know if this is maybe a dumb question, but since we have FBI involved in this, um, do we? Is there not something that they could have done? And I'm not saying they didn't do it because I don't know everything they know, but you have a 40 caliber weapon. We have FBI. Can we not run the reel, so to speak, and say, okay, these are so many people that got a 40 caliber registered to them. Now, I don't know that the gun was registered to him personally. I don't know that, but I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if it is, it's registered to Richard Allen. Okay, we've interviewed him. I mean, you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And I don't know how much knowledge they had of this guy. I don't know how long they were holding off. I don't know if they were waiting for a little bit more. I don't know if maybe Kagan Klein was able to provide a little bit extra that, got the prosecution on board. I don't know the ins and outs. Maybe they did do that. You would hope they did, especially even with the type of vehicles that they saw on camera. You know, did they check registration for those types of vehicles? You hope that they did all of that stuff, all of those things.
Right.
You hope.
Exactly. I caught a few things in the press conference that I'm man enough to say I missed. One of the things that I caught in the 2017 press conference that I thought was very interesting. Now, you'll have to forgive me. I'm terrible with names. I can't remember half my family's names half the time. But, you have the guy that says, you can't see what's over here and you can't see what's over here.
Bursting.
Okay. Then you have the guy that says, we'd like to thank in advance the tip that leads to the whatever of the murderers. And if you listen to it carefully, he doesn't say the murderer. He says the murderers, plural. I replayed it 100 times. And I was like, I'm going to bring that point up because he 100% says murderers. I didn't catch that the first time listening to it.
Yeah, there might be some things they're not telling us. I mean, they may have been on to Richard Allen and then the Hoosier Harvest Store. Because if you read the Ron Logan affidavit, they say that the drop off time for the girls is 1 p.m. We now know that it was closer to 1:49, and they make mention of the Hoosier Harvest Store video. Now, so they must have, that must be the reason, that must be the cause of the 2019 new direction. So they may even have Richard Allen in a vehicle, um, in a passenger seat. They know it's him, but they have no real way to tie it to him. But there's the young person in the driver's seat. They want to know who that is. That's why they never really discounted both of the sketches. They just said, well, somewhere in between.
Right.
Maybe, hypothetically.
Right. When you and I have talked about in the past, and what I did was, well, first I'll start off by saying, the new press conference that was released, Doug Carter says today is the day, but then he also says today is not that day. So, just my simplistic hearing of this is that, yes, we think we've got somebody that's very valid in this murder, but we're far from being over.
Well, the way I heard it was kind of like today is the day, but it's not the day to celebrate just yet. You know, we believe there's others that are involved. Our jobs aren't done.
That's what I heard. That's
Yeah.
what I heard. Do you believe that this is one of those situations that the reason they haven't released more information, knowing what we know now, is because they knew from the jump that this is definitely not one person?
Yeah, I think it was the Hoosier Harvest Store video. Something that they found on that video provided them with a lot more than they had. So
Right.
I think what they did was they saw somebody on that video, and then they went back and looked possibly at all their sketches and were like, okay, well, this guy looks like, one of our early sketches. So it's obviously much more important than we thought. So we're going to bring that along with the information, because with the probable cause affidavit and the information that's written in Richard Allen's probable cause affidavit, they're not going to put everything in there. All they need to do is put enough to get what they need from that judge. Like, here, judge, here's enough for you to go ahead and say, yes, probable cause. Granted, and that way they can keep some of their strategy a secret.
Yeah. One thing that which I know you said it wasn't fact, and I mean, obviously we can't believe it's fact. One thing, and what I did is I was trying to go back through lives that we did, and I was trying to listen to stuff that just according to just Richard Allen in the case, that I felt that I touched on that was right, but also listened to stuff that was wrong, because I wanted to see how close I actually was and how off I actually was.
Yeah.
So one thing that I mentioned is I asked you in the Insomnia crew if Libby had the pet dog, and you said I think she did. There was some mention of some puppies or whatever. Why do you ask? And I said, well, when I go to my mother's house, I'm covered in dog hair, and I have to use a lint roller for 3 hours.
Okay,
So
I missed that part. Wait, say that again. Libby had what?
What? In the Insomnia crew, when I asked you if Libby had a pet dog, you said, I think she did. I think there was some mention of some puppies.
Yes, that is correct.
And you said, why do you ask? And I said, well, when I go to my mother's house, she has 3 dogs, and I have to use a lint roller for 3 hours, talking about the hairs. And so when I read that in your that day you put on there, and it said, this ain't really factual or whatever, we don't know if it's fact. I was like, What is your opinion on that?
I think that what you're saying right now is going to play a huge role in court, and is a big part of the forensics. I think on both parts. I think that there's going to be maybe I don't know the right word, cross contamination or cross, whatever you want to call it, fibers and hairs coming from the victims and from the perpetrator crossing each other and being left on each other and possibly found. I don't know if Richard Allen committed the murders. If he was covered in mud and blood and he's the guy in the blue jacket, then he would have. If he's covered in blood and mud, it seems like he's the one that helped move the bodies, right? So if he helped move the bodies,
Right.
he's going to have that cross contamination, so to speak.
Do you personally believe he's a rich guy?
Yes.
Very interesting. So now that you're armed with this new information that has came out, has it changed your opinion drastically on what it was before, or
What new information? Like the Richard Allen stuff?
yeah,
No, because one thing that we can be proud of here on this channel is we try to keep an open mind. We want to consider all the crazy theories and all the things, because if you think about it, Richard Allen is a very crazy theory. The guy was working at the CVS. He lives up the street from one of the victims and the bridge. I mean, nobody even thought it was him. This is a crazy conspiracy if you think about it. Now we're here, come to find out there's other people involved. So I mean, it's as crazy as we always thought it would be, and it's getting crazier.
right. I think, just going through past, podcasts we've done, I think everybody, well, I'm not going to say everybody, a majority of people believe there was more than one person involved. I keep going back to when Dave Carter says, we believe you're hiding in plain sight. He doesn't say we think you might be. He says we believe. And that's another thing that I kind of had to sit down and look at. Like, there's a reason you believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
because I've had crazy theories. I mean, I've had theories of serial killers from, all over the world. But
well, to me, it reminded me of what Robert Ives said. He said, I don't know why I thought this person was going to be caught very soon. To me, he seems local, maybe some type of mental health issue going on, based on what I seen. That's what he said. That's what the prosecutor at the time of the crime said. And he was spot on.
He was very spot on. And the part where he said, as far as the time he was there was no actual motivation that was known while he was there. I know he wasn't there for very long, but
well, apparently he was there. Well, at least Richard Allen stated he was there from 1:30, and then he was spotted at 3:50 something. So from 1:30 to basically 4:00, that's a lot of time.
I think so too. And man, I just have a big problem with the whole 40 caliber thing. I mean, we got FBI on this.
Maybe you're giving them too much credit.
Well, Sleep, I might be. I'm just a simple country boy.
I make that mistake.
I could put two and two together on, well, let's see who has a 40 caliber.
Yeah, exactly.
We got the FBI.
Yeah. Oh, and come to find out, if they would have done that and saw that his name was there, I mean, no matter how they filed the information, his name should have popped up once they did a search, right? Like, oh, well, he owns a 40 caliber, and he also said he was a witness. So you would hope their system would somehow cross-reference that.
And this may seem assholeish, for lack of a better term. When Richard Allen says he went down there to watch fish, we're not talking about a 14-year-old boy with an old Zebco in his hand going down to the creek. Right. We're talking about a 45-year-old man, correct me if I'm wrong on the age,
50.
Going down the bridge to watch fish.
And what a choice of words.
Do what?
I said, what a choice of words.
What a choice of words. So he puts himself not only there at the bridge, or, there at the location, there at the bridge, there at the time, and he claims he's watching fish. I don't know, man.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm very suspicious
of
and I'm going to come out publicly and say this. I'm very suspicious of the person he provided that information to, because I put myself in the same situation. I take the human aspect, take that into consideration. But I mean, the guy came up to you and said, "Hey, this is what I was wearing. This is what I look like. I was there at the time the murders took place." Whether he misfiled it or not, I mean, at some point you think he'd be like, "Well, hey guys, didn't you guys check up on the guy that I talked to?" Like, at what point did he come forward, or did he finally?
I've always been an advocate, or not advocate, maybe saying the wrong term, man. Sorry. But I'm like you, man. I have a problem with the person who took this information in, because you're telling me that you're wearing this. You were there at the location. You were there at the bridge, and you were watching fish. I, I don't mean to laugh, but it just sounds to me like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, almost like a little
And we have FBI on
fu to law enforcement, duper's delight, maybe.
I don't know, man. I have a really big problem with that. And just looking at it from a simplistic point of view, I think I could have run the data and figured out, well, hey, he's got a 40 cal. Well, let's go through the list of names here. Oh, Richard Allen. He's got a 40 cal. There was the round right there.
What do you make of the unspent round just being right there in between two victims?
I wanted to talk to you about that, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm really good about saying that. If you go back in our podcast, we talked about it, or not podcast, but our live. So the affidavit said there was no sign of struggle, right?
Yeah, no sign of a fight, no sign of a struggle.
Yeah. Well, we've already talked about that. I have a huge problem with that. But I don't. If you have a gun in your pocket, I've been shooting guns my entire life. I'm never just going to rack out an unspent shell on the ground for any reason. What I make of that is there was a struggle, and the flag got forced back, which caused an unspent round to hit the ground. That's my personal thing.
What about a fight? What about a fight between two perps?
Could have been.
Like you took it you took it too far. They begin fighting, and then after the guy whoops Richard Allen's ass, he kind of grabs his gun, takes out the magazine, throws it to him, pulls out the bullet that's in the chamber, and then throws him the gun. So maybe he did get in a fight.
I think so. I just can't see somebody with their own weapon walking up to a scene where they're fixing to murder somebody and just ejecting a round out. Because I'm just going to assume that there was more than one round in that clip.
I'm thinking maybe during a chase.
Like to know who the print is on that bullet.
What do you think about after a chase? For intimidation. You chase them, you run, and then you're able to get in front of them, and then you cock the gun one more. You pull the hammer back, discharge. They stop right there, and right where they stop, after you intimidated them by re-racking another round, that's where you end up killing them.
I think that's possible, considering this gun isn't a hammer weapon. I think it's possible. It was very, very, very stupid on their part if they did that, because somebody had to load that bullet into that clip, which tells me that more than likely somebody's print is on that bullet.
You don't think they wiped the prints off before they loaded them?
I mean, maybe they could have. I mean, that's a possibility. But I'm just saying that I don't know. I mean, everything's possible, but
Question is, what's likely?
yeah, I mean, if you narrow it down, I think more than likely there was a fight of some sort, whether it be between the two girls or the perpetrator, or an assistant there, an accomplice. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, maybe one of the girls had the gun at one point.
Could have.
Maybe they racked one.
I have a theory on a lot of people say, why did he cross the street? Well, no matter, I think everybody has a fear of some sort. His fear might be a cop. What do you think about that?
What's the question?
No, I was just making a statement. Like, a lot of people are wondering, why did he cross the creek? Why did they cross the creek? I think he crossed the creek because, number one, you can't run across that bridge, right? If he's done it before, he might could walk it fast and be confident. But number one, he can see down in that creek from that high up and know where that sandbar is at. Number two, when he gets down there, it's a lot easier to cross that creek and get a little wet than it is to go back across that bridge.
Well, the way I see it, this could explain him leaving an unspent casing or unspent bullet there and them running and no signs of a fight or a struggle. So they go down, he leads them down there. They're very familiar. These girls are familiar with that area, right? So they know in that direction is towards where they plan to be picked up, towards the cemetery or towards back that way,
Right, they're trying to get
north.
back to safety. Trying to get back to the
Yeah, once they go that way, they know that they'll be safe. So whether they got to go through the water, it no longer matters because they may have just been told, hey, like you're about to become a victim of a sexual assault or a kidnapping. And they're like, hell no, we ain't. We're gonna run straight through here. We're gonna run right across this creek. We don't care. It's very shallow where they chose to go, almost as if they knew it. They're like, we'll just run through here. And I think eventually the killers made it across as well. And once they caught the girl, stopped, maybe racked around for intimidation, and then it took place from there.
Here's something that I thought about too, about why, if there's any truth at all to this kidnapping gone bad, here's what I think may have taken place. So they run or whatever, trying to get away from this guy and these people. Here's the thing: you can't carry hurt people out. Okay. So if Richard Allen and this other person or whatever loses it, and they catch one of the girls and they hurt them, now they're bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can't carry them out, right? Because that draws attention. Why is this grown man walking out with this girl and she's bleeding?
Well, I mean, what was the motive to begin with? I'm starting to think there might have been some kind of unknown communication going on between one of the victims and Richard Allen or one of the perps. Why are they so motivated to go and kill these girls in the middle of the day? It just doesn't seem like something because most of these killers are cowards. They pick the easiest way to do something. You know what I mean? Why do it in the middle of the day when there's a bunch of people around? Why choose that day? What was motivating them? And from my understanding, there was no sexual assault. I could be wrong, But why are you motivated to kill these two young girls? Are they going to say something about something that you did or something that you know?
I'll tell you
Hold
what
on.
I've done to it, Steve. Being the manner that I believe, and I think other people believe these girls are killed. Excuse me. I think this was a message. I think this was intended. I honestly believe there was a gun involved. Not, I know they found the bullet, but I think the gun is the reason that when you're watching this video, his right hand, if you just look at the elbow of the right hand versus the left, when he's walking towards the girls on the bridge, I think he's got his hand either on the gun in his pocket or right there in a deal. And I think that me and you talked about this, like, kill these girls in broad daylight on a public hiking trail. I think it was a shut up.
Yeah, it's highly motivated. He showed up at 1:30 and they showed up shortly after. This is a targeted attack. It's got to be.
And when people talk about, I've been doing a little bit of research on this, and when people talk about, well, how would they have known? And Robert Ives said it, as long as he was there, that there was nothing, saying that, like, how would somebody have known they were going to be there? Well, if Richard Allen and whoever else, thought these girls knew something they shouldn't, or whatever the case may be, man, there's air tags. There's anything in the world. I mean, there are location devices that you can put on people's phones. And Keaton Fine coming in with his computer savvy.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
That's all my time for today, man. The wife's home.
Okay.
So I'm going to start wrapping it up. Is there any final thing you wanted to say?
No. Good talk to you, man.
All right, man. Hopefully we can continue this conversation again soon.
All right. Look forward to it.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Take care. Bye. All right, guys. That is my time. And I have some food waiting on me. So I'm going to go downstairs. My wife is home. So I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me for an hour, talking true crime. Brian, thanks for calling in. Great call as always. Outside the Grid. Hey, it's good to see you. Subscriber of your channel. Good stuff. Good to see you. Everybody who participated in the chat. Hey, Digital, good to see you. Melissa, Lady Rainstar. Hello, guys. That's going to wrap it up, and we'll start closing her out right now. Shout out to Brian for giving us that great call. Good discussion. Hey, that's a good point, Digital. That's a creepy thought. A highly complex plan, but interesting nonetheless. Okay, Whiskey. Those dogs are so spoiled. You have no idea. Thanks, James. I saw that you became a member. Welcome. We'll have a meeting very soon. Hey, Vanessa. You guys. Replay crew, leave some comments. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It's really good for the channel. I'd appreciate it if you could do that. Consider becoming a member. We have some fun. And I will try to come back here in a little while, get some food in, give the wife some kisses, and I'll see what you guys are up to. Yeah, Carrie, that was a great call. Peace out. Sleuth Nation, I like that. That's a good one. Peace out, kid. Have a safe weekend. Don't forget about this. It's going to be a spooky one.